CCR5, Delta 32 mutation, natural immunity to HIV/AIDS. The CCR5 Delta 32 mutation grants individuals an extraordinary resistance to HIV infection, providing a form of natural immunity. People with 2 copies of this mutation lack functional CCR5 receptors on their immune cells, effectively blocking HIV from entering and infecting these cells. Normally, HIV must attach to the CCR5 protein on white blood cells to invade. The Delta 32 mutation produces a shortened, non-functional protein that never reaches the cell surface. Thus, even repeated exposure to HIV rarely results in infection. This mutation primarily occurs in individuals of Northern European ancestry, with around 1% inheriting 2 copies, making them virtually immune to most strains of HIV. Approximately 10 to 15% carry 1 copy, providing partial protection and slower disease progression. A famous real-life example is Timothy Ray Brown, the Berlin patient, who was effectively cured of HIV through a bone marrow transplant from a CCR5 Delta 32 donor.
Gigantism and acromegaly, extraordinary height and strength. Gigantism and acromegaly are rare conditions marked by extreme body growth, immense stature, and remarkable physical strength. Both disorders stem from excessive secretion of growth hormone, usually caused by a benign tumor on the pituitary gland. Gigantism occurs when excess growth hormone is released before puberty, causing abnormally tall stature. Individuals can exceed 7 or even 8 feet tall, exemplified historically by Robert Wadlow, the tallest man ever, at 8 feet 11 inches. Acromegaly develops in adulthood, enlarging bones and tissues in the hands, feet, and face, creating a robust, imposing appearance, like that of wrestler Andre the Giant. Although giants often possess immense strength due to their sheer size, the conditions carry significant health risks. Untreated gigantism and acromegaly can cause severe joint pain, skeletal deformities, muscle weakness, heart failure, diabetes, and vision problems. Modern treatments like surgery and medication help manage these complications, but historically, giants faced shortened lifespans and physical hardship. Tetrachromacy, enhanced color vision. This trait enables individuals to perceive an expanded color spectrum, up to 100 million distinct shades, compared to about 1 million in typical trichromatic vision. Tetrachromacy is usually due to the presence of a 4th type of cone cell in the retina, which provides an additional spectral input to the visual system. Most humans have 3 cone types that are sensitive to short, medium, and long wavelengths, blue, green, and red. But tetrachromats possess a 4th cone with slightly shifted sensitivity, allowing them to detect color differences that others cannot. This condition typically occurs in women who inherit 2 different versions of the X-linked OPN1MW gene that encodes green-sensitive opsins. If both versions are functional and distinct enough, and if the brain integrates the signal separately, tetrachromacy becomes behaviorally expressed. Around 15% of women may carry this genetic variation, but only a small fraction, estimated below 1%, demonstrate functional tetrachromatic vision. Hyperthymesia, perfect autobiographical memory. People with this condition can recall nearly every day of their lives in vivid detail, effortlessly retrieving dates, conversations, and small events as if watching a mental video. This ability is specific to personal life experiences and is different from general photographic memory. Instead of memorizing random facts, those with hyperthymesia automatically and unconsciously store and organize daily life events into a highly detailed mental archive. The brain mechanisms behind hyperthymesia are not fully understood. MRI studies have shown that some individuals have an enlarged caudate nucleus in temporal lobes, areas linked to memory storage and obsessive habits. They also tend to spend significant time mentally reviewing memories, which may reinforce the connections. Fewer than 100 cases have been confirmed worldwide. Famous examples include Jill Price, the first described case, and actress Mary Lou Henner. While this memory power is remarkable, it can be a burden. These individuals cannot forget painful memories and often struggle with constant mental replay that can cause insomnia and emotional stress. Tibetan high-altitude adaptation, superoxygenation. This trait grants the superpower of efficient oxygen use in environments with very thin air. Tibetans carry unique genetic variants, most notably in the EPAS1 gene, which helps regulate how the body responds to low oxygen levels. This adaptation prevents the dangerous overproduction of red blood cells, which can make blood too thick and cause health problems.
Instead, Tibetans maintain normal hemoglobin levels while maximizing how much oxygen their bodies can absorb and deliver to tissues. About 87% of Tibetans carry these protective gene variants. This allows them to live and work at altitudes above 15,000 feet with ease, performing daily tasks and physical labor that would leave most lowlanders severely short of breath or at risk for altitude sickness. However, this adaptation may alter how they respond to certain medical treatments, like oxygen therapy. LRP5 gene mutation, Unbreakable Bones. An LRP5 gene mutation grants the superpower of bones up to 8 times denser than normal, making them nearly unbreakable. This rare genetic change affects the LRP5 gene, which helps regulate bone formation through the Wnt signaling pathway. Normally, this pathway balances how much bone is built and broken down. A mutation in LRP5 blocks the pathway's natural limiters, allowing continuous bone growth and resulting in osteosclerosis, bones that are extremely dense and resistant to fractures, even under severe impact. This condition is extremely rare, with only a few families worldwide known to have it. One well-documented example is a family in Connecticut. Discovered after a car accident in 1994, family members could break baseball bats with their dense skeletons and showed no history of bone fractures. While unbreakable bones seem like a perfect trait, they come with downsides. Excess bone mass can compress nerves, cause hearing loss, create heavy jaws, or make it hard to float in water. Despite these quirks, affected people have a normal lifespan and live mostly healthy lives. Mirror touch synesthesia, enhanced empathy. This condition gives individuals an extreme form of empathy. They physically feel what others feel when observing touch or pain. Mirror touch synesthesia causes a person to experience tactile sensations on their own body when they see someone else being touched. For example, watching someone get tapped on the shoulder might create an actual feeling of touch on their own shoulder. In more intense cases, this extends to pain, meaning they may feel pain simply by observing someone else in distress. The cause is a hyperactive mirror neuron system, a network in the brain that normally helps people empathize and understand others' actions. In mirror touch synesthetes, the boundary between self and others breaks down. Their brain's touch processing regions activate as though they themselves are being touched. This is often linked to increased activity in the somatosensory cortex and structural differences in brain areas related to proprioception and emotion. It may arise during development or after sensory loss. Adermatoglyphia, no fingerprints. Adermatoglyphia grants the superpower of having no fingerprints, making affected individuals nearly impossible to identify through standard fingerprinting methods. This extremely rare condition is caused by mutations in the SMARCAD1 gene, which plays a role in skin development. The mutation disrupts the formation of the ridged patterns on the fingertips that make up unique fingerprints. As a result, people with adermatoglyphia have smooth fingertip skin, with no visible ridges. Only a few families worldwide have been identified with this trait. A well-known example is the Sarkar family in Bangladesh, where at least 4 generations of men have lived without fingerprints. While this trait might sound advantageous for evading fingerprint-based identification, it comes with practical problems. Many countries use fingerprinting for immigration and security checks, so people with adermatoglyphia can face delays or even denial of entry because they cannot provide fingerprint records. This challenge has earned the condition the nickname immigration delay disease. Glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase, G6PD Deficiency, malaria protection. Individuals with G6PD deficiency have red blood cells that are harder for the malaria parasite Plasmodium falciparum to survive in. G6PD is an enzyme in the pentose phosphate pathway that generates NADPH, essential for keeping glutathione in its reduced, protective form within red blood cells. When G6PD is deficient, cells cannot neutralize oxidative stress effectively, making them vulnerable to hemolysis when exposed to oxidative triggers. However, this vulnerability impairs the parasite's ability to replicate. The oxidative environment is hostile to malaria parasites, and infected red cells are cleared more rapidly by the spleen. Worldwide, about 400 million people are affected, with prevalence reaching up to 25% in regions where malaria is endemic. While it grants a survival advantage in malaria-prone regions, G6PD deficiency can cause acute hemolytic anemia. Episodes may be triggered by infections, certain medications, notably antimalarials like primaquine, or foods such as fava beans. Hypohidrotic ectodermal dysplasia, HED. Enhanced heat resistance.
HED is a rare genetic disorder characterized primarily by an impaired ability to sweat. Although sweating is crucial for body temperature regulation, individuals with HED often exhibit an unusual tolerance to extreme heat, allowing them to endure higher temperatures comfortably for short periods. The condition arises from mutations in the EDA gene, most commonly. But mutations in EDAR and EDAR-ADD genes can also cause this disorder. These mutations disrupt the normal formation of tissues derived from ectoderm, including sweat glands, hair, teeth, and skin. Patients commonly present with sparse hair, missing or misshapen teeth, absent tear ducts leading to an inability to produce tears, and dry mucous membranes causing a persistent hoarse voice. While the reduced sweating provides a temporary heat resistance superpower, it poses significant health risks, notably an increased chance of overheating or hyperthermia in hot environments or during fevers.
Foreign accent syndrome, FAS. Unintentional foreign accent.
FAS is a rare neurological anomaly where a person begins speaking their native language with what sounds like a foreign accent, despite never having lived in the associated region. This superpower isn't voluntary. It emerges suddenly, often following events like strokes, traumatic brain injury, migraines, or jaw surgery. The condition stems from subtle changes in speech production, altered rhythm, intonation, or tongue and jaw coordination that listeners interpret as a foreign accent. Neuroimaging studies consistently identify brain lesions in the left hemisphere regions governing speech planning and motor execution, such as Broca's area, insula, motor cortex, and sometimes cerebellum. Around 100 cases have been documented since the first report in 1907, with a slight female predominance. ALDH2 variant. Reduced risk of alcoholism. The ALDH2*2 genetic variant significantly reduces the risk of alcoholism by causing intense discomfort when drinking alcohol. Carriers experience severe facial flushing, nausea, headaches, and dizziness due to rapid buildup of acetaldehyde, a toxic chemical produced during alcohol metabolism. These symptoms naturally discourage regular drinking, protecting individuals from alcohol dependence, commonly affecting about 40% of East Asians and 8% of people worldwide. ALDH2*2 prevents the body from effectively breaking down acetaldehyde. Even moderate alcohol consumption can trigger severe reactions, making drinking physically unpleasant. However, there's a critical downside. Persistent acetaldehyde buildup increases risks for esophageal, head, and neck cancers, particularly among those who ignore discomfort and continue to drink. While ALDH2*2 provides genetic protection against alcoholism, social pressures can sometimes override this natural aversion, leading some carriers to drink despite severe symptoms, placing them at heightened long-term health risks.